Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So, I think it's safe to say that we can all stop pretending. For months, I've been talking about the fact that the Activision acquisition has been a monumental change or shift in the industry. Not only that, there had been economic issues. There'd also been the fact that the player base that used to buy almost all the games has now somewhat started to transition into a different phase of life in terms of their demographics. I don't think I've necessarily talked about this on this particular channel, but I remember from playing Tom Clancy's The Division and The Division 2, the demographics for that game is actually a much older demographics than, say, here on the Video Game Fight School channel, where most of our audience members, like the superhero games, are in their, late teens all the way to their early 30s. That's a very different demographics. Now, nonetheless, the new demographic of gamers is somewhat more casual than, say, those of us who maybe grew up in the PlayStation 2 era, and even those who were even back then the OGs of the Commodore 64 and so on and so forth. This is very important to note. There's no way you want to look at gaming that you don't test out the demographics that are available. In light of this, I think the industry shift from all of the pizzazz and all of the wow factor is no longer really a thing, because I think most people are just disenfranchised from the fact that a lot of these games have engaged in all kinds of or all manner of other focus parameters that are not really engaging to gamers. For instance, you see them hiring consulting companies, doing DEI training, all of these little things, and their games failing and not necessarily providing hype, which is something that is good for a game because of the shared community and the influence, the word of mouth sales, and just the fact that those communities can come together and enjoy what the game has to offer. If you look at, say, the older games from back in the day, they were not necessarily some of the greatest games, but they seem to be more of the, the most appreciated games. Some of them were great, but now it's a whole different, in my opinion anyways, it's an entirely different environment that we're operating in. I wanted to go ahead and highlight this particular, story here in light of what it is that we've seen lately, just to go ahead and let you guys know that, man, this is quite interesting. So Tom Warren posted here May 13th, which was yesterday, Microsoft games that are exclusive to one piece of hardware are going to be a smaller and smaller part of the industry. So Tom Warren is basically quoting some statements and some decision making points that we've seen in the last few months. Another statement here, Sony, this is basically saying first party can be grown on PC to help operating profit. This was from the acting president after Jim Ryan had been stepping down. This was just so recent because that particular quote, many people kind of took it as saying, well, it doesn't mean that PlayStation is going to just go day one on PC. They just kind of say, we're going to bring, they already brought almost the whole slate. We're looking at Ghost of Tsushima in, 20 minutes, which is going to be coming out on PC. And then Square Enix, we will aggressively pursue a multi-platform strategy. And Tom Warren is asking, what next? Well, people are saying Xbox is going to follow the Steam Deck design. They're going to look for a unified strategy. Some people are saying things like Zelda Breath of the Wild on PC. It appears that, the facade is now basically exposed, that this whole talk about exclusivity was basically from a time where the options were not necessarily that much. If you kind of think about it, ladies and gentlemen, today's day and age gaming, is significantly different in terms of just hardware itself. I'm not even talking about software. I'm just highlighting simply hardware. You can get a gaming PC for very minimal. You can actually just go ahead and build yourself something that will beat the PS5 Pro in, say, 20 minutes. That's crazy that this is a reality. I remember telling you guys on the channel here that you could build a PC for $650 that's going to outperform the PlayStation 5. And if you think about your cost of PlayStation Plus, the more games that the games they sell you at launch on PlayStation and Xbox that is more expensive than PC, you can basically take that money and when you put it together, you could go buy yourself a solid PC. And here's the beauty about, an ecosystem like that: price fluctuations. This GPU that I bought a few weeks ago is now sitting at $309. Ladies and gentlemen, as the time continues to roll on into the mid-gen refresh in terms of console, PC components start to get more and more cheaper and more powerful for less money. This is, in my opinion, one of the best investments anybody can put their hands in, rather than take the step to, go on a mid-gen refresh. That's just my opinion. However, when Tom Warren posted just a few hours ago, he's talking about PlayStation 5 console sales. The console sales are down 29% year over year in the recent quarter. Sony also says it sold 20.8 million PS5 consoles for its 2023 fiscal year, a slight miss on its revised target of 21 million units. Sony now expects PS5 sales to decline to 18 million over the fiscal year 24. This is very interesting. This is not something that, in my opinion, makes me happy. To be very honest, I think some of you might think, oh, this is something that makes me happy. No. There's a healthy aspect to the gaming industry, and the gaming industry has gone to the bloat factor because all they wanted to do was perpetually grow. So Microsoft and Sony were in this heated competition. Sony was spending a lot of money acquiring these exclusives that now the exclusive people who've been giving them exclusives that kept their console sales up are starting to back away because the industry is changing. Look at Square Enix saying, we're going to go put games everywhere. I mean, look at that. Think about this. So where is PlayStation going to be able to leverage its continuous market dominance to be able to keep console sales up? It's not gonna be able to do it anymore because the options are now wide, so it needs to go dump its games on PC. And now the only difference now is dumping more games on PC faster. Do you see what I mean? Because day one is a thing. Helldivers 2 already showed up day one. They capitulated to the PC players, because that's how business is done on PC. I mean, I think this is probably new. And more people are looking at it and going to themselves, well, why am I bothering with this? Why am I sticking with, a company that doesn't necessarily seem to be bothered by what it is that I'm doing? So some people are coming to chalk it up like this. So let me see if I understand this correctly. Sony sold in 1 year as many consoles as Xbox did during the entire Series X life, and they're in crisis? Well, yes, they sell these consoles at a loss. Oh, you didn't know? This is subsidized hardware, my people. I mean, how in the world did you think that you were getting $600, $700 worth of hardware, maybe even more, for $500? What do you think was going on in that math? Because the hardware is basically the same as what you would find on PC. Yes, the PC equivalents may be more powerful in some cases, or in some cases may not necessarily perform in a apples to apples comparison, but the same components and the same behaviors can be found in different areas in terms of, hardware uses. And so they have to subsidize it. Microsoft sells basically a $200 loss. PlayStation was selling its digital edition for a while, and they were actually taking a loss on the digital edition. The only reason the main version of the PS5 did not continue to eat a loss is because they were able to sell a large volume. But then they've backed away from that statement. They are not sticking with that statement anymore that, the PlayStation 5, units that are not the digital edition are profitable. They made that statement in 2021, but we haven't heard anything about that lately. So we can stop pretending now that PlayStation is going to consider bringing its games day one to PC, because if you think about the money-making avenue, that is most likely the definitive direction that they're going to need to go. There's almost nowhere else. What are they going to do? Go make another $200 million game? Well, maybe they have some contracts signed with Marvel, but they'll be making those. But those games don't come out easily. They're like once every 5 years, we're going to be seeing them, right? And then at the same time, what else are they going to do? Try to find an exclusive with another company? If they hadn't made these exclusive deals, I don't necessarily think many of these companies are going to want to continue to do exclusives. This is something I've been saying for a long time. So ladies and gentlemen, gear up. Make your decisions. Act accordingly. It appears that the whole industry has changed, and now you, the consumer, you're in for a good time. And you know why I say this, right? Because many people think that, I'm here to berate one company or whatever. This is not the video for that. Think about it. This is not the video for that. This video is to come and inform the consumer that your interests will somehow be met because the competition is now on. Thanks for watching the video. I appreciate you guys' time and audience. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section, and hopefully we can talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.